Here we have another frame of very good paleo points, North American paleo points, and that would be Folsom and Clovis paleo points in particular. The one in the center is really quite outstanding. It was part of the Michael Huff collection, and it was also Val Valdivia's found in Churchill County, Nevada. And it's a large, very large paleo knife, translucent, beautifully translucent knife. And then, of course, right there, Dixie Valley, Churchill County, Nevada. And that's Val Valdivia. Quite a nice blade, well flaked along the edge in particular. It's got the Ultrapasse paleo flaking. It's just a beautiful, beautiful, probably a stemmed knife like this. And just an outstanding stem knife example here from the Great Basin. Here we have a very nice Folsom Point. This I acquired from Rod Michael, and it's translucent flint or agate. Looks like agate, and it's beautifully flaked. The typical very fine Folsom flaking, very fine Folsom pressure flaking there. And it's an interesting point. It's been used. That's an understatement. The base has been anciently repaired, as it was busted up a little. The tang on the left in particular. It is a chisel tip, and it has been worked into a spoke shave there. That spoke shave has actually been flaked out. It's not just one big flake to make that arc. It's been intentionally done to make a spoke shave. So you might say it's a Swiss Army knife of the Folsom culture. Then we have next to it here, this is a river polished Jimmy Allen point. And I believe I acquired that from Dan Fox from Kansas. And a real nice little early archaic piece, auriculate-based early archaic piece. This is from Lyle Nickel. This is another Allen point, auriculate-based, made out of fossiliferous material. You can see the fossils in the material. And again, I acquired this one from Lyle Nickel. And then we have, this looks like a, what would we call that? The knives that they have here in California that are stemmed and fluted. It eludes me right off the bat, but we find them out in the Mojave Desert. You see it's patinated white on this side, and it's more of the gray color, probably more of the original color on this side, less patinated. Fluted there, stemmed, used as a knife. So we have a knife there, a used knife. This is a very interesting point. I acquired this from Dr. Michael Gramley, and is published in his article, Thick Lancelets and the Early Fluted Points. Thick Lancelets and Fluted Points on ResearchGate. You can access it by typing in ResearchGate, Thick Lancelet Points. And this is pictured in the article and described. Dr. Gramley, Mike Gramley's friend, found this in Belize in 2020. No, in the year 2000. And this was found by Dave Wally in Belize in the year 2000. And the surfaces are anciently ground. So the surfaces there are anciently ground, and Dr. Gramley describes that in the article. It was ground first and then flaked afterwards. The flaking scars come right up to the grinding at right angles. It's a heavily patinated paleo point. The original color of the point was root beer, a root beer colored flint, but it's patinated white, heavily white, and it's ground. And not only is it ground, it's actually etched. There's a lot of etching lines in this. In fact, this is the first effigy that got me interested in looking for a mammoth effigy and discovering etching on flake stone, paleo flake stone. And this etching here is very unusual. We have the etching here. Now, what we have here is a fish effigy or an eel effigy facing right. That eye has been purposely flaked out of there. We turn it this way, almost looks like kind of a shark or another fish. All these scales and gills are etched into the stone. That's all ancient paleo etching. So the surfaces have been anciently ground in paleo times, and then it's been flaked, and then it's been etched. And then on this side here, we have another eye that's been intentionally flaked out, and we have an eel or fish looking off to the left now, and then we have that eye flaked right there. That's a great looking fish or eel looking off to the right. Great little effigy from Belize in the form of a lerma round-based. Very, very interesting. Then we have a great Clovis point here. Now this Clovis point is made out of knife river flint. You can see that the tip has been reworked there. It had a little damage on it in ancient times. There's no modern workmanship on this at all. You can see also that it's been resharpened down quite a bit, probably lost a good inch off of the original size, and then they made it into an effigy. These surfaces have also been ground or smoothed, and then they've been flaked for eyes of faces and for mammoth eyes, and also etched. These are all etched as well. So very similar, pretty much identical to the lerma round base example that I acquired from Dr. Michael Gramley that I just displayed here on the video. And this has all been etched here for the hair on top of the faces there. Very interesting etching there. Very interesting etching on these points. That they use this as the eye. And there's actually a face looking straight at us on this side here. So it's a paleo story stone effigy. The first one I discovered was in October of 2020 in the Mojave Desert, and I was the first to observe and discover mammoth and face effigies, displaying an old mammoth and a young mammoth, and a young human face and an old human face. And they're out there by the trillions. I have them from every continent except for Antarctica, and they're out there made out of everything. So they're quite common. They go all the way back to Homo habilis 1.2 million years ago. They were making these story stone effigies. Now this is a Clovis point, almost fully fluted there, and it was made out of a gray material. I think there's a little nick on one of these ears down here. Yes, right there. You can see it's a little grayish material. Let's see right here. Modern nick there. And then we have the fluted point. That's a Clovis point. And boy, what a beautiful, heavily patinated Clovis point. All that white is patination. It was more of a gray type, light gray type of flint. But what a beautifully executed Clovis point. Pretty much fully fluted on both sides. Very well made. Here we have a paleo knife made out of translucent agate. Been a little bit fluted there on the base. Got the auriculate base. So I presume it's a Clovis knife and probably an effigy. I haven't looked at it that closely. Here's another Clovis point. And we have a nice flute there. And it's originally more of a gray color flint like that. And then it's patinated white like that over 12,000 years. Because these Clovis points were made between 12 and 14,000 years ago. So very interesting there. And then here we have a paleo knife. This came from, I believe, South Dakota or North Dakota, or it could have been Wyoming. And I got it from Cherry Creek Artifacts years ago. And this is all patina. It's actually a root beer colored flint. And that just goes to show you how extreme this paleo patination can be on this particular case, a paleo knife. Wonderful example there. Here we have a very nice Folsom Ultrathin. This is a Folsom Ultrathin, and it is ultra, I mean literally paper thin. Paper thin, look at that. Paper thin. My God, I don't think you can get any thinner than that. It's very well made, very well flaked. The fellow that sold me this made a big mistake. He advertised it as a Wildcat Canyon. Nothing could be further from a Wildcat Canyon. I mean, it does have a similar outline, but Wildcat Canyons are never made thin like this, nor do they have this fine paleo flaking like this. The edge work on this is outstanding, and the patina is great on this piece. It's a little polished on this side, and on this side more matted, indicating a dry lake bed type of find. What an outstanding Folsom Ultrathin. And then we have, this was acquired from Rod Michael. It's found in the Mojave Desert in Nevada. And it looks like either a hasket or a very, very large Lake Mojave type stemmed point. But it's made out of agate, very well patinated, very beautiful piece. Dr. Michael Gramley also sold me this piece. This hails from, I believe it's Kentucky here. And it's made out of just beautiful brown chert, and it's fluted here at the base. It's a paleo stemmed knife that's also pictured in the ResearchGate article, thick lancelet points and fluted points in ResearchGate. It can be accessed through ResearchGate. Then we have, this is from Lyle Nickel. This is an unfluted Clovis, or he sold me this as an unfluted Clovis. He did repair this ear here. So there is one ear that was damaged, and excellent repair work, I might add, right there. But it's a beautiful Carter Cave flint, and a beautiful Clovis point. Then we have some others here. We have probably a plain view here, kind of a Scott's Bluff here. This is a real nice Scott's Bluff here. This is beautiful paleo flaking, beautiful flaking. And kind of a Cody knife, Scott's Bluff. Very well flaked. And then we have another, probably a plain view here. So a frame of paleo points. This particular knife is pictured in the book here, Paleo-Indian Artifacts, by Lars Hotham, identification guide, and it's pictured right here. This is it, and this is the one here. And then the other frame that I've already photographed, I have a video of it already posted to the site. This Folsom point right here was Michael Huff collection, and this is the Folsom point right here that's pictured in my first frame of points. I didn't get a chance to provide the provenance on that one. So yet we have another frame of North American paleo points.